Math and science is my two worst subjects, gentlemen. Yes, so I'll just sit here and be quiet and listen to you.
I graduated from high school in 1946 in a small town in eastern Colorado. It had 800 people in it. And I studied physics and Latin in that high school. My graduating class had 17 people in it. You know, it's very interesting when we think that this is not possible. Somehow, in that poor little old stick town out in the Dust Bowl, they had the habit of, this is what you do when you go to high school. And most of us came out of high school and went back and farmed, but, you know, we had Latin.
Gentlemen, we have another caller on the line. Ira is joining us, and Ira is a 6th grader. Welcome, Ira. Hi, go right ahead.
Okay. Hey, Fitz, this is Iris. Iris Chang, and I'm in your math class right now.
I'm sorry.
What? Oh, well, I just wanted to thank you because, well, I've only been in your math class for 1 year, but without you, I wouldn't have learned pre-calculus. And me and all the other students will miss you so much, and thank you for giving us the chance to learn math. Thank you.
Wow.
Now, Iris isn't, not all students are quite up to that level.
Wow.
Iris is exceptional, as was her sister before.
You know, I'm really speechless. This is one time I am a 6th grader caller. That is incredible. In listening to all of this, I keep thinking...
Iris just said, I'm so glad I had your class or I would have missed pre-calculus.
Oh, wow.
Right on, Iris.
Are there really enough or that many gifted and talented students in this district?
Yes, there is. There's plenty, and there's plenty more than can be handled right now. And many of the kids go to private schools, you know, and because they feel they can't get into a program here. Here, there's difficulty getting in. You know, they apply and they don't have the points, and so they can't make it. Now, one thing that would improve this, it wouldn't solve the problem, but if you would be put in by testing, and the most able kids, the ones like Iris, you know, have to be in a program like this. How can you possibly have her in a class learning arithmetic when she can do pre-calculus, you see?
But is there a chance that, let's say, these new rules and regulations go into place where you have 3 years now as opposed to just the 2? Is it possible that there are students who are of this level, highly gifted or gifted, that have been totally overlooked, who will be in these, taking just the general math that they have to take?
Yes, yes. I've heard many cases of kids. See, I work on training kids for competitions and such, and I have many kids coming in who tell these horror stories. Or I used to teach also for the Johns Hopkins summer programs, where kids came from all over the country, bright kids, who in 3 weeks would do a whole year's work in some particular subject matter. And these kids felt that they had landed in heaven because they had been in schools where they were looked at as nerds and you know, they were doing boring work all the time in school. And here suddenly they were allowed to just let their minds go, and they were delighted. And so there are many, many highly gifted kids.
Let me ask a question. If you have a person who's truly gifted and doesn't get the opportunity in school to use it, do they lose that?
Yes, there was some studies made in San Diego a number of years ago, and they found that the highly gifted kids actually did worse than honors students because they see the world a little differently, and they don't fit in quite so well. They develop their own systems and such, and it doesn't always fit in with the regular curriculum, and so they get shuffled off and get bored and maybe troublesome in class and things like that. And yes, they found that that was really damaging, so they started special honors programs for highly gifted kids at that time.
Well, they may have social behavior that gets worse, but do they lose the gift?
Yes. It's sometimes, you know, say, well, genius will out. Well, it doesn't. If you look at the biographies of those scientists that have made it to the top level, they at some place along there met with someone that really stimulated them, really turned them on, really inspired them. And usually it's some other genius themselves who they worked under, and that gave them the passion to go on. No, I'm a very, very strong believer in that genius has to be developed.
Gentlemen, we have another caller on the line. Sheila, another member of your fan club, is joining us. Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you very much. Bill, I've called to say to you, thank you and goodbye, but not for long. I'm district coordinator for Gifted Talented Programs. Of course, we've known each other for years.
Yes.
And I really have to say to everyone that over the years, Bill has exhibited the passion and dedication and showed that there is actually no limit to human possibilities if those possibilities are nurtured. And certainly as we develop schools for advanced studies and other programs, we have increased the amount of training for teachers, and we still need more. It's continuing. It must be continued. The program has lost $1.2 million this year in crisis and budget cuts and so on, but we will continue. And Bill, we do accept your help and to continue with us. But thank you so very much for what you have done for children and parents in terms of gifted programs.
You know, earlier we were talking about the important role the instructors play in all of this with the new, the additional year of math and science. Is the district, or are you specifically going to have trouble finding additional math and science instructors to fill these classes?
That's actually a yes and a no. Yes, we always need more science teachers and math teachers, but
particularly physics.
Yeah, and physics, which would be your science teachers. But we have the resources already, and when we had an in-service recently with our science teachers in high school, it's more content-driven. Mr. Gibbons is a very rare animal here where he can do both. He can do the math and the science. He can do chemistry as well as physics. In the high school, you may have somebody more specialized. A biology teacher that's credentialed in biology, the emphasis in biology, and would have reluctance maybe teaching the chemistry course. And what we're trying to do is build that capacity by having science teachers, the biology teacher with the chemistry teacher. Hopefully there's a course called Integrated Science that we're trying to develop within our high schools, which would be a collaboration of hopefully both your life science and physical science, as well as physics and earth sciences. And so
Mr. Romer?
That's something that we're looking into.
Oh, it's just a wonderful evening. It's a wonderful discussion. And somehow I was thinking of the gradations that you need to offer to students. I mean, students have different interests and different talents, and a really good system will, to quote Fitz, have every student have a task at which they can succeed and at which they're continually stretched. And I was smiling just thinking about that in terms of the gradations of, and I was using aircraft as my analogy, you know, the Concorde and, you know, the Piper Cub.
I'm just fascinated by this whole evening listening to both of you gentlemen. Number one, because I did not do well in these subjects when I was in school.
You
Don't
weren't in my
say
class.
This is true. That's the reason. But also just the respect, number one, that you've been given, and just the thought of these other students having to take this additional course. Words of wisdom to those students who may be sitting there saying, wait a minute, another year of this?
Well, that becomes our job instructionally. Because we're talking about standard-based curriculum, we're leveling the playing field now, where the content that they're going to be judged upon is going to be triggered by standards, which means now it's doable for teachers. They'll be able to explore the chemistry standards, the biology standards, and it's not going to be, well, something ambiguous anymore. And I think what it does is it defines your courses, and by the end of 3 years, hopefully, students will have mastered the biology, the chemistry, earth science, physics, and our hopes as a district is that these young people will leave high school better for it, as well, and even the math.
Gentlemen, I'm going to try to squeeze one more call in. Sophia is on the line. Go right ahead, Sophia.
Hi, it's Sophie, and I'm calling on behalf of Katie and Nina and Addison and Jenna and Brigitte and Jennifer and everybody here. And we just wanted to tell Fitz that he's made such a huge difference in our lives, and that, you know, you only get that once-in-a-lifetime teacher, and he's been it for us, and you've just made such a huge difference, and we wanted to thank you so much. Fitz, I wish there were more teachers like you out there and who are so dedicated and determined to teach us, and I have learned so much in your course, just about everything, and everything in life, and my study skills have improved. I just wanted to thank you, Fitz.
Got about 30 seconds left.
Some experience that I think we're all sharing here tonight, and that is to hear a colleague praised so much by students, so sincerely. I mean, I have not heard that in the 3 years that I have been here in that intensity. I've heard students say thank you, occasionally to a teacher or sometimes repeatedly, but never this stream. And it's something that's very good to behold. I was thinking somebody ought to tape this show and show it to prospective teachers and say, you want a good life? Get that kind of a report card as a teacher, because that really is a report card that counts.
And with that, I would like to thank you. On behalf of all of your students, past and present. You'll be back, and thank you also for joining us. Mr. Romer, I'll see you back here next week, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tony Ginyard. Good night, and we will see you here next week.